Hmm. Well, welcome to Innervision. We are now here, and we thank everybody for joining us on a beautiful Monday. Ah, yes. Okay, so we have a lot of interesting topics. Some books I've been reading over the last I think the last month or so, and these are some long books. But at first I was gonna welcome. Hey, Alan, you're there, right?
I'm still here. I'm just
Okay.
having a hard time with my Zoom connection here.
Your Zoom, it's fading
Here
in
we
and out.
go. I'm up. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay, no problem. So these books were like long books, but some of these books they give you a background history. Like this one book, How to Be Successful in the Music Business, long book. But when I look at the details that this guy gives, I think this book came out in 2022 or 2023.
Mhm.
He really gave me some ideas about like how to negotiate certain things, which I know some, but this guy, he has done it and done it successfully, and he's getting 500 or more people at his concerts. He charges, when he goes out on road, $2,000 or more. And then he tells you the reason why he charges what he charges and why it should be like in a contract to let the person know what you expect of them and what they expect of you, so everything's clear.
That's very important to bring up, folks. If you are a aspiring musician or recording artist, or even if you've got artificial intelligence on your side and you want to have bands pretty much cover your stuff that you might create with artificial intelligence and different platforms, um, it's interesting because you're going to want to have some sort of LLC set up. You're going to want to have these negotiation tactics in hand and ready to go so that you can start promoting your music, and your brand.
Yeah.
Innervision FM can help. And um, what the drive and the main mission is to get disabled musicians or financially challenged musicians or both the opportunity to break in to the music industry. We've got, gosh, Johnny has been doing this for
Forever.
oh, 30, 40 years,
More. I
right?
started when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
I was let's see, in high in before all this stuff, I used to pretend to be a DJ, because you remember back, well, I think you were part of that. They would give you a free tape recorder with a microphone,
right, right,
right?
exactly.
And shoot, we would take that and this is stuff that our parents probably couldn't afford to buy for us, but the Library for the Blind gave it to us for free,
Yep,
because of the donations. And so
yep.
they had this DJ named Dr. Daddio, and I liked the way he flowed with what he said. So I
Mhm.
would put on a song and I would imitate him. And then at all of our holiday parties, I would be the DJ, right? Then in high school, I went to this thing called Career Education Center, where they taught you how to do mechanics with the cars, or they had a broadcasting class. That first time we went, that's where I met my web guy and best friend Peter Van Pelt, and they picked me as the radio host. So figure from 1972 on up.
Well,
So
that's interesting,
in my
Johnny,
blood.
because I was born in 1971. And and the point I'm
So,
trying to make here, folks, is this. Johnny's got knowledge. He's got the analog aspect of everything locked down because that's where he came from. Um, he was also in the film industry, which,
oh yeah.
back in the day, film was not the way that it is today, where everything is digital. You were dealing with having to lug huge spools of
Oh,
film
yeah.
all over.
Oh man, 3/4 inch film, and you put like 10 of those in a bag,
Yeah,
and you're
dude, they're
going
so heavy.
down the hill and up the hill, because like Mile High Studios be down this hill,
Yeah.
and then to come back, you have to go up the hill, and then there was a Kentucky Fried Chicken there. You catch the bus in front of Kentucky Fried Chicken, well, for me to go back home.
Mhm.
And it's definitely for a young man.
Yeah,
I
definitely for
yes.
you know, and that's the thing is we can take I was thinking about this about an hour ago. Between our knowledge base, your knowledge base, and my knowledge base, we've got everything locked down.
Oh yes.
You know, Johnny's got analog knowledge, he's got real world experience of how to set up a concert from the ground up.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I've got some experience, you know, as a musician. You can see this guitar here off to my left, got my computer here, got an amp over here. Anyway, you can see all this stuff, all my toys.
Mm.
And so I've got the digital aspect of this locked down. And between Johnny and myself, and of course, all of the other blind musicians, recording artists, content creators that use AI, man, we've all got this locked down. The bottom line is 70 to 90% of us are unemployed or underemployed. And when you support Innervision FM with any sort of donation, whether it be just, hey, throw us a bone once in a while by visiting innervisionrecords.org and, you know, hitting up the donation opportunities that are listed there. But, you know, you got Regal Cinemas, where if you buy some ticket bundles, you will not only be getting a good movie, you know, on Innervision FM or through Innervision FM, sponsored by Regal Cinemas, uh, but you know, a little bit of that kickback, about half of this kickback goes towards uh, getting the 70 to 90% of the blind and low vision, otherwise disabled, financially challenged folks that are looking into music something to do. I mean, this is some really cool stuff. Best time to be alive ever.
No.
Uh, yeah, I mean, man, it's crazy.
And this
We've
book,
got a bunch of news.
wait, I got to tell you. Okay, the book is called wait a minute, how to make it in the new music business, and it's by this guy. I need to tell you his name. It's the third, I think, the second edition,
Mhm.
and it's by this guy named Ari Hurston. Ari Hurston. I thought it was Robert. Okay, Ari Hurston, and that name is spelled A-R-I. Interesting name. And then Hurston, Herstan, Hurston. So, anyways, I just want to put that in, give him props because he
Give him
really
some
did a good
kudos,
job.
yeah, because this is good stuff. This is good stuff. I'm going to check that stuff out. I encourage that folks do the same. But you know, the bottom line is we aim to put all the cookies on the lower shelf here at Intervision FM. Knowledge that we have learned through hard, cold experience, you know, as well as the new way to the new way to do stuff. You know, with AI, with digital audio workstations, all of it. And we
Hmm.
want to give that to you, the subscriber.
Yeah.
So don't forget to
Uh,
toss down a comment. We need your help with the algorithms. So even if you just type hi in the comment box, type hi,
yeah.
like, share, subscribe, do those things. And if you got some ideas, check this out. If you join us at Intervision 2 at msn.com, uh, let us have your email. We will put you up on a newsletter. This will give you upfront access before anybody gets a handle on what we're going to be talking about. You'll be right there in the know.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this other book, Once Upon a Time in Compton.
Mhm.
Now, well, not everybody knows. So I'll just say I lived in Compton between 81 and 87. And when I first went to LA, I lived in Pomona.
Mhm.
which was a college town. And I must have moved like 5 times because before I got my place in Pomona, I was living with my friend. Then they moved to another place, and then I moved to another, and it was before the suitcases had the wheels on it. So I had all my
You
clothes
had
in
to
this.
carry everything. I mean, literally carry it.
Yes, and I don't know how, it is so much easier now because when me and my wife we go traveling, we have the suitcase and the wheels.
Mhm.
God, that would have been so easy. But I was, 21 years old, carrying this heavy suitcase.
Mhm.
And I think I moved about 5 times because I think I went there because my friend, man, it's smoky in here now. My friend, he introduced me to this lady. That happened for about a month when I realized she's crazy. So I had to get out of there. Um, and then I just started moving around, and then I ended up in Pomona, and then so that was my first time. Then the second time I came, I lived with him in Compton, the city of Compton, right? And it was before the the police came out and NWA, they were coming up, but it wasn't prevalent.
NWA had hit the scene right around 1986,
Yeah.
whereas you're talking about the time from 1981 on up to
To
1987.
seven,
So
yeah.
it
And
sounds to me like you are leading up to, hey, I wanted to leave Compton. Don't really know why I want to leave Compton, but it's getting kind of dicey here, and it's not
yeah,
a place to raise kids. Yeah,
yeah. And my blind friend warned me, don't wear red, don't
right.
wear blue,
Yep.
because they're gonna shoot before they find out you're blind. And even there was some deaf kids there, and they were
Yeah.
doing their, how you do we use the finger. They got mistaken for
For
gang
throwing
members,
down signs.
and they shot at these deaf guys.
Yeah,
So
these
they,
are things that people have forgotten. We the blind have long, long, long memories collectively.
oh yeah, yeah. So I brought was my first wife. I took her out there because hey, you want to live here? And she says, no, Johnny, I want to live close to my family. So she left to go back to Colorado,
Mhm.
and she called me up, and I decided because I would come home at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would hear AK-47s shooting at houses, and I'm thinking like, what is this sound like? I mean,
Hey, Mike. Or hey,
hey
Joe.
Joe, hey,
I got
I'm in
caught
the
up.
middle. I'm in the middle of this Compton experience. We already talked about how to um, uh, be successful in the music business. So, so to catch you up on so we're talking about this Compton thing and how instinctively I realized that Compton and me weren't going to get along, and I had to leave that place because it was just too much craziness going on, and I didn't want my daughters to be a possible gang member daughter or have a train pulled on them because they're around these gangsters.
Yeah.
So so I had to get out of that, and I came back to Denver, and when I came back it was March and it was snowing. And I said, "Man, I left California, got away from the snow, and the first day I come back, it's snowy and cold." I said, "Why did I come back?" But after reading her book, it, somehow through the atmosphere, I made the right decision. Because sometimes you wonder if you should take this road, or the other road.
Yeah.
And then you find out in hindsight that you took the best road for that time.
Interestingly
Looking back,
enough,
it's still a little fuzzy.
What?
looking back, it's still a bit fuzzy.
Megadeth.
Oh
Megadeth,
man.
yeah. So
Oh man.
He's Christian now too.
yeah, I
Dave
was gonna say
Mustaine.
he's Christian. He decided that he would follow the Lord. That's kind of cool. That's
Now
kind of
who's
cool.
this? Who's this?
Dave
Dave
Mustaine.
Mustaine.
He was
Oh,
the original singer for Metallica.
Yeah,
Ah,
Then they booted him out, and then he started Megadeth.
absolutely.
is that? Oh, okay. Let's check that out. Okay.
Interestingly enough, back in those times when Dave Mustaine was singing with them, they were known as the Metallic Cats, I think.
Get out of
And
here. What?
yeah,
Forget a cats.
absolutely. Metallic Cats.
That's
Check that out.
fun.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, toss a comment down below. What do you guys remember about the 80s? What really struck you from 1981 to 1987? I remember myself growing up, and we were learning about the gang members and things like this. And of course, we had the attitude, as children do oftentimes, and even adults, that if it doesn't affect you directly, it's information, but meh, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect you.
Right.
But now we are getting to a place like what happened yesterday in Boulder,
Boulder.
Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
I just
mean,
heard a talk show earlier about, and they had these three Jewish ladies on there, and they're talking about the governor. He says he's going to observe it, and he's Jewish himself. So
mhm.
he's just going to observe it. And they didn't want to say that this person he overstayed his passport or his visa, and it was under the Biden regime, and the employer hired this guy and kept him employed, even though this employer must have known that this guy's visa
Yeah,
was.
that guy's going to be paying a heavy fine.
Yes, I hope so, because Christian Brothers, they're getting beat out because these moving companies are hiring illegals, and Christian
I
Brothers,
know.
they're a sponsor. And so he can't lower his prices down to their prices because they're paying these guys whatever they want to pay them.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. And Brian, Christian Brothers, he's paying them good wages.
Yeah.
And I said, Brian, you should, and the Better Business Bureau, I don't even know what, because people say, oh, they're cutting all this. Well, even before they were cutting all this, the Business Bureau are not doing their job, at
Well,
least here in Colorado.
what was
You know, they
interesting.
never have. They never have done their job correctly.
And
Sheesh.
what was interesting is the Better Business Bureau allegedly, we'll say, because of course we're on different
Eh,
platforms and stuff. So we do have to say allegedly, but the Better Business Bureau allegedly uh, would give these small business loans right on over to, uh, the undocumented immigrant, newcomer friend, illegal alien, whatever you want to call them, and leave folks that are blind or physically disabled, otherwise disabled,
mhm.
out in the cold for these grants, for these
Yeah,
programs, for these opportunities, for these
yep,
small business loans. You can
yep,
check this stuff out for yourself.
yep. And I just heard a story about this guy. He studied, he got a double master's, almost into a doctorate to be a legal paralegal. And he went in for the interview.
Mhm.
They didn't hire him because he was blind, but they hired a lady who had a lady early 20 who didn't have any experience in the paralegals. They said, well, we'd rather take a chance on this person who doesn't know anything than a person who finished with a 4.0
Double masters.
who is blind. So he what he decided, he went to work for chicken fillet just as a dishwasher while he's going to school because he wanted to work. When he did that, he just decided to make a consultant thing where now they had to hire him and he would charge them double the price.
Well, at least
Good.
he was
Huh?
able to find it.
Yeah, go ahead. He
In
was
the
able to
ditch,
find.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. And he said many of these firms that didn't give him a chance now look at and they now wish they would have because he's good at his job.
That's right. That's right.
He's just blind.
Yeah. And there are stories throughout the country like that. And we have our alphabet agencies, our different organizations that are sworn to try to help. But I do understand their quandary. If they help too much and that unemployment rate plummets,
But then
It's kind of like the American Cancer Society. They got to go away.
yeah. And
So of course they don't want that.
one thing about this, and I got to tell you another, when he was washing dishes at the Chick-fil-A, they used to get out at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
He would get them out in 45 minutes. They close at 10 o'clock. He says he would get them out within 30 to 45 minutes
Yeah.
out.
Wow.
And they loved it because he really, attacked that job and did it well. And it's like,
Efficiency 101.
yes, yes, which now in the schools, they're teaching how to be not efficient, right? They don't want to give you any grades because that's racist.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I saw that where they're looking to go to a numbered system so that everybody wins, kind of thing. You don't really get, and what does that do for somebody that wants to try and wants to be the best at what they can be at, the best at?
Mm.
You
And
know,
it's starting to affect like, people that do woodcraft, plumbers, because they said now the people that they hire now, they're terrible because they don't think about quality,
right.
putting their best forward.
That's right. That's right.
And
And unfortunately, that's the way the world is today. Fast, not good.
yeah. So so I don't know, how do we get out finished into this this way? But anyway, so anyways, I'm reading this how this gang got started. And it was started because when they moved there, whenever whenever new people move in, the groups that's already there, they want to protect their lifestyle, and they don't know you, and so they sort of like make it hard for you to melt in kind of thing, even though we're a melting pot. So they used to have people that would go from the people that were there out into the other neighborhood, and they would beat up these other people that were just moving in. So then they formulated a gang for protection. So first it started out as a protection thing, then it got into where and I think it was demised by the government, where the jobs started leaving these areas, and they started influxing drugs, guns, and in the movie Straight Outta Compton, he said one time it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and this car drove by, dropped out a bag of these automatic guns, drugs, and drove off. And instead of the gangs taking those drugs and guns, taking them down to the mayor's office, taking them down to the city office, and say, "Stop messing with us," they said, "Okay, we got better weapons to shoot at each other."
Well, that is an interesting take on that. The what do you call that? The no questions asked policy of turning in weapons for different perks that they had going on at the time really did not end up being a good program altogether.
Yeah. And
Go ahead.
even when they got into business, Suge Knight, he had, when
Oh,
he built up his,
Suge Knight. Wow.
it goes right into that. So he had money, so he would buy the Bloods, these guns and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like, and what got Tupac killed was instead of having his bodyguard beat up this one guy that uh, pulled the chain off of, it was Death Row Records. They got this chain, and he was in the mall, and the other gang pulled off the chain and dissed him, right? So when the guys,
this whole mess right here, bud,
it was stupid.
it was.
That's what he got killed over, because instead of sending his bodyguards to beat up the guy,
Yeah.
Suge Knight, Tupac, and the guy that got the chain went to beat up the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so therefore they had to come back after Suge Knight,
Yeah.
Tupac, and people had this theory like, oh, Sugar, what is his name? Suge Knight, he hired that person, but these guys are not sharpshooters. So he was lucky that he just got grazed, because they were after Tupac he was just lucky that he didn't get shot up as much as Tupac,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it was no such thing as oh, he hired these people because these guys, because many incidents in the book, sometimes they would go and they would just mow down innocent people.
Yeah.
5-year-old, it doesn't matter. These guys weren't the most brightest bulbs in the light bulb or in the casings of light.
Yeah.
So it was crazy, but when it got to that crazy in the 90s, I was already out of there.
Right, right. And it's only gotten more crazy as the removal of the nuclear family has taken place
Yes.
on a greater scale. And then when you throw in the confusion as to what you can identify as, then you've got further stuff. Then, of course, when you dump a bunch of different causes, what do you want to call that stuff, where we've moved from a let's go along to get along kind of society, let's all get together and let's make things work. We moved from that to uh, what is the phrase I'm trying to say, where everybody has to have some sort of cause now? Like ours is blindness. Ours is the physically disabled, financially challenged. We want to help the music industry, blah, blah, blah. AI, all that stuff. Okay, so that's our cause. But there are other ones. There are maybe not so good ones. Why did we move from a society of let's get along with our neighbor and help uplift everybody and all ships rise upon the tides of success, to this idea that I gotta get
Communists don't
money.
want that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They give lip service to it. They might say it, but on the other hand, they're doing just the opposite.
Now, folks that are watching this episode, toss a comment down below. What do you think about this? I mean, what is a contributing factor that most affects you in your life? And how do you think we can change this kind of stuff? Certainly, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, get saved today. Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, and he died for our sins. That's where we're going to stand. That's where we are, individually. And it used to be collectively as a nation. Now, people didn't believe that way. Okay, fine, that's cool, but our laws are still based right around all that stuff. So that's why there's such a big problem now, because when you start taking God out of things that were meant to have God in there, yeah, of course you're going to have some problems, man.
And you can look up Madeline Murray O'Hara, and her 17-year-old son was in school, and of course in school back in those days, they would pledge allegiance to the flag. Then we would also either have a scripture from the Bible or stuff like that, and he didn't want to participate, and instead of her having the option to take him out of that, the school says no. And it's pretty much what they're doing today. They're making it illegal for a parent to have the option to say, no, I don't want my kid to be taught the LGBT plus. I don't want my 4-year-old to be taught that, because you should be teaching him reading, writing, arithmetic, colors. If I didn't teach him those things, not about how he can have interesting sexual experiences at the age of 4 or 5 years old. So the Supreme Court I think they went too far, and they said, we'll just cut out religion totally out of the school, right? Instead of saying, well, we can make it where parents can opt out. And so you see how history repeats itself again, where now they don't want parents to opt out.
Well, I would postulate too that this is causing a great rift, because, of course, we've got a president who is purporting, anyway, to want to go back to a God-based society. he's not saying that everybody needs to become a convert to Christianity, but what he is saying is
It would be nice.
we've got to, well, yeah, it would be nice, but he is also saying we need to get back to that kind of mentality, that kind of thing where
Those values.
yeah,
Yes.
those
Yes.
values.
Yes. So, and speaking of opting out, P. Diddy didn't want certain people to opt out of his lifestyle.
Right.
So certain people enabled his lifestyle because they were making money.
Well, check out 50 Cent for instance. There was a time where P. Diddy had allegedly approached him to do some shopping trips, do some let's go get some dinner maybe,
Yeah,
or
wait, I got to talk to the alpha man. Okay. So if a guy comes up to you and say, "I want to take you shopping,"
right,
as an alpha man, you know what your answer is going to be.
right, exactly,
And this is
exactly.
what he approached 50 cents with. Now, some of and then I guess it was this other guy. I don't know all these names, these rappers and all that kind of stuff. But this other guy, he took him up, and they showed up wearing the same color of clothes as if this is your woman dressed to match,
Whoa,
right? And they tried this with this actor as well, and he says, you cannot give up your man. If you're a man and you're not going that direction, you cannot give up your man card because that will lead you into taking a lot of drugs, alcohol, because you're trying to erase what you did to become successful according to this pervert. Right?
so I look at the movie called Crossroads. Ralph Macchio, I think his name is, the Karate Kid guy. He was a main character in this. He sold his soul, or no. Actually, I think he refrained from selling his soul. He was playing against Joe Satriani, I believe it was, in a
Yeah.
battle of the
No,
bands.
it's not just
Steve Vai.
Satriani.
Steve Vai.
Stevie Vai, yeah.
Yeah, Steve Vai. So he was playing up against Steve Vai, and Steve Vai sold his soul. Now, when you do sell your soul, what happens? Well, of course, you're going to do some drugs. I'm not saying Steve Vai in the movie was doing that. What I am saying, though, is, man, when you sell your soul, you've got to dull your senses because your spirit is screaming inside. What have you done? What have you done? You have taken our immortal coil, our thing that lasts eternally, and you have sold it for what, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of fame?
Look at the suicide rate of actors, young actors
Yes.
especially, and musicians. They take their lives daily because of their decisions they made.
Yeah.
There's a whole club called Club 27 for these folks. They die sometimes under mysterious circumstances. Other times they don't make it to the age of 27.
Who was that singer? My daddy wanted me to go to rehab, and I said no, no, no. I mean, I often wonder what happened to her.
Whoa, no kidding.
It's like, she. But talking about women, when we got into this free love, first it was the pill and Playboy. I remember Hugh Hefner signed up with Playboy. And then they got the pill because these scientists, even though they were like nerds, they wanted to have sex without women saying no. So they said they came up with the pill. I think that was the motivation of coming up with the pill. Then they said, okay, let's make abortion legal. And at the time they were trying to inflate the numbers of illegal abortions to 300 or so, and it was only like 35 illegal abortions that were botched, whatever. But they had to inflate the numbers to emphasize and lie to the public. And you think women, when the Genesis says, when a man and woman come together, and it took me a long time to learn this. This is not, I got 82 mistakes out there. But women, every time you give yourself to a guy, you give up a part of you soul-wise. Same thing with you guys. That's
Yeah.
why when you say heartbreak, it breaks your heart because you're ripping yourself half an hour. And it takes a long time for all of us to learn that. But if we got that training in the beginning, young, dads who are teaching young boys and all that kind of stuff, and if it was just within our tribe to teach all of our boys, teach all of our girls that this is just not a fun game, a lot of this splitting of our souls wouldn't be happening. But yet we're in this place now, and how do we reverse it? Are we too far gone?
Toss a comment down below. What do you guys think? Are we too far gone as a society? Are we done? Stick a fork in us kind of thing. And we've got AI. We've got the degradation of the family. We don't really know what kind of gender we are now. We can identify as whatever we want. Nothing is real anymore. We got VEO3, whatever that is, at Google that makes videos that look real, sound real.
And the
Right now,
TikTok challenge. So we got that the lady who it was a challenge to sleep with 583,
cool.
Oh man.
and she's now in the hospital. I don't know. I'm not sure what they do to relieve that kind of pain, but whatever. She's in the hospital doing that kind of stuff. Just doing stupid things. Ah, but go continue
Amputation.
on. Huh? What?
Amputation.
I just
So I
yeah.
postulate that there is still hope, folks. Time is short. Christ is coming. Get saved today. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, right around verse 51, if I remember right, is really the meat and bones of the stuff. All of chapter 15 is awesome, man, because it gives you well, here's why you want to do this, and here's why we do it. Because, man, if all this stuff were for nothing, what's the point? No, we're doing this for a reason.
And speaking of amputation, in let's see, in Rhode Island, this lady was sitting on the beach having her wine, and she saw I think it was a 50-foot shark blade traveling around in the waters there,
In a pond.
and it was a pond. How did you get to the pond? It was
I
like,
don't know, but it was in a pond.
Wow, that's
yeah,
absolutely insane.
yeah. So that sort of interrupted.
Freshwater shark.
Yeah, and
Next
that,
they're gonna come up with land shark.
yeah. Oh man, now that would be something else. I mean, I've seen big fishes, and I've heard of. See, I rode on a big elephant, and I don't know if you could ever like sit on the top of a whale because sometimes I've heard like when the whales are in those aquariums. One time it took like it grabbed one of the feeders by the foot and dragged him down, thinking it was just playing, not realizing that that person can't breathe underneath the water,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's killer whales.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
just playing.
Free
So,
Willy.
yeah, but the sharks, I don't think they play. I think
No, they
once they got a
don't.
hold of you, and until they figure out that you're not a dolphin, what is it? What do they eat? Seals and whatever
Whatever.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever else.
whatever else. It's like your arm is gone, your leg might be gone. Or
Remember Jack when I was in Jacksonville, they had a lot of problems with sand sharks on Jacksonville Beach, and it's the world's largest family beach
Yeah.
wow.
in Florida, and they were having tons of sand shark attacks. I mean, and the sand sharks are in 1 or 2 feet of water. They're
Yeah.
ripping people's legs
Wow.
in.
Wow. Wow. Because I'm thinking like you would be safe if you're just like in shallow water. Shoot.
And that's
Very shallow water. But they're small sharks, but they still have big teeth,
yep,
big
yep.
sharp teeth.
Oh, wow.
The teeth of a
Candy
shark,
gram.
man, the teeth of a shark are such that it's almost like having a buzzsaw get a hold of you.
Oh, they're serrated.
Yeah, man, it's insane. Holy
Okay.
crow.
Now, updating your iPhone, I guess it's a app, it's a download 18 because they're finding out that these hackers can get into your phone and look at your pictures, your contacts, and maybe even your method of paying. So they said, tell your grandparents, your friends and stuff like that. And I need to tell my wife because I don't know if she updates her phone or she just ignores it.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of folks out there that will only pull down the critical updates for their whatever operating system, whether it be a phone or whether it be a tablet, whether it be a computer. There are others like
Yeah.
myself that just go ahead and update all the time.
Yeah.
Reason for this being too, Google got hacked, hundreds and hundreds of millions of people's information yet again. Just out there for everybody to peruse, and passwords. So change your passwords too. May as well.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? They can have my identity. They can steal it all. They
Yeah.
can have everything. You know why? I know where I'm going at the end of it all. And you can also have my blindness and my unemployment. So
Yeah.
if anyone dares take my identity, I'll find them. I'll
Mm.
find them, and I'll have God helping me to find them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now let's do like this day in history. Now I went back to and I thought I put it in there, but it didn't put it in there. Uh Saturday was Clint Eastwood's birthday,
Yeah, totally forgot about that.
and he's still
Whose
making
birthday?
Clint
Clint
Eastwood.
Eastwood,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still making movies.
he's still
90,
kicking it.
I think he's 95 or 96.
It's insane.
96, I think.
Yeah, because he was born, let's
Insane.
see. Okay. Again, okay, so that was well, I don't know why didn't I thought I copied and pasted it in there, but it didn't put it in there. So anyway, and then June 1st, it was the Oklahoma massacre where these people. And when I read the top, there was this black guy who was in an elevator with this white girl, and he said hello, whatever, and then he just went home. But then she made up the story that he did more than just say hello, and so then they merged on this town and started killing people and stuff like that. And then it
Wow.
was just based on her telling a lie about what had happened in the elevator because they were sort of like flirting with each other. But I think somebody else saw it and then said, "What's going on?" And so she felt that she had to make up a story. So it's like, sometimes it's hard to tell the truth, and sometimes your lies lead to worse things than just telling the
Unintended
truth.
consequences. Let me tell you. Wow.
Yeah. So June 1st, 1967, the Beatles came out with the White Album.
Yep. Yep.
And I think they said something about they overlaid
What? No,
the
it's Sergeant Pepper's.
that was the Sergeant Pepper. Oh, man, let me see it. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, Sergeant
That
Pepper's.
White Album came out in 69 or something like that.
Okay,
It was
okay.
the
Oh,
last album.
To read my full sentence. Okay, so but they overlaid like the bass, some of the bass riffs, and then they overlaid the vocals, and they were really getting into a lot of experimental stuff within the studio.
It's interesting because I'll use experimentation within AI to write some of my songs. It's not just, going in there like a kid in a candy store, but actually researching how to write the prompts, which symbols to use, how to best engineer the prompt. Anyway, I just
Yeah.
figured out because you can get some really cool sounds out of that AI stuff
Oh yeah.
that, yeah, doesn't sound quite. Because what I've noticed with AI is the music all sounds the same,
Hmm.
you know, very similar. Like you'll find different styles, and the
Well, I,
singing
I
sound.
have to disagree with you on that.
Well,
Have to agree. Maybe
w-
maybe on what
Suno?
you're using, it's like that. But I tell you what, Donna, their
You know what?
yeah,
music
I've had to try it
composition
because
is
my lead vocals for
fantastic.
my lead vocals for my rock bands, they pretty much sound all alike. You
yeah,
Well,
know?
vocals now are they're going to sound the same. They only have so many voices that they're going to copy.
yeah.
But
Right.
music,
Yeah, the
instruments and
instruments,
stuff.
yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Those are great. But yeah, what I am talking,
Vocal is very limited.
yeah, very
Mm.
limited, but still super awesome stuff, man. And you can do some really cool stuff with overlaying of sounds and all kinds of crazy stuff. Uh, they're pretty hip on what is it, the like the backmasking technology or the
Mm.
subliminal messaging kind of stuff. So if you try to play around with any of
Ah,
that stuff, they
Like my Gary Paul.
yeah. So yeah, kind of will kind of restrict you on what you can do. Uh so I'm plumbing the depths of that, you know what I'm saying? Because
oh
bottom
yeah.
line is if they're going to be using AI to do evil, bad things, I'm going to be using AI to do good things like protecting our minds. There are sounds that can be used that bypass the human mechanisms that say this far and no further. There are subliminal things that can be employed uh, at a subtonal level that get right on through the barriers that God put in place.
Mm.
But God's God, and He created music.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
He put Satan in charge of it. He was the director of music for a bit until he decided to be a less than smart individual,
Yeah.
rebel. But God controls this stuff. And so, bottom line here is this: in so much as folks can do bad things with sonic technology, there are folks that are just as bent on doing the right things,
Hey,
just as bent on building and protecting and saving.
hey, Alan, you wouldn't know this, but maybe, hey, Joe, was it a full moon last night where you
No.
were? No?
It was not
Okay.
a full moon. There are significant solar uh, storms, at least is what they're calling them.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Aurora Borealis is supposed to be huge now.
Yeah.
yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that's
Huh.
going to be going on in the next one to
Well,
5 days.
last night there was one guy, he was singing opera, okay? Then this other lady, because usually on the playgrounds you hear kids screaming, right?
Mhm.
So this one lady, she's screaming, young lady, just screaming, going down the street. This is around like 11 or so at night. So I'm just thinking, like, was it a full moon last night, or was just something happening happening in the atmosphere?
It's definitely something that is going to affect a lot of people. The weakening of the magnetic field around the Earth, the sunspot activities, and blah, blah, blah. Some people think it's energy weapons. Toss down a comment. What do you guys think it is?
Hmm.
Bottom line is there's going to be some pretty big headaches in the next 1 to 5 days. Got a pretty humdinger myself right now.
Yeah. Now, getting up to the June 2nd, 1865, that was the end of the Civil War ended.
Yeah.
And let's see, do I have anything for local spotlight and entertainment? What happened? Oh, okay. Walt Whitman and Marilyn Monroe, I guess they were born um in this month.
Walt Disney and Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Yes, and okay. I was just gonna see if it was any other name. So I didn't know she was born in June. Okay. Okay, and then we'll let everybody, get your crispy donuts, go to our website. Let's see, $15 you get a dozen. And then our Rego Theater, $30, 2 tickets. So we're doing that. So you could help us climb the ladder board because it's a contest to win this contest. So the more we sell the donuts, we can win this this
This runs
contest.
through August 2nd, right?
Well, the Krispy Kreme is through July the 7th, and then
Oh,
the
okay.
the Regal Theater that's through August the 31st. Because you
Oh,
figure
okay.
like the summer movies, and all that kind of stuff.
I see.
Mm.
All the information is available at the website, www.innervisionrecords.org. That's all one word, Innervision Records.
Yes. So anyway, so this is what's happening in our world, and it was so fun looking through some of the stuff that was just out there, and like just to tell us about the history of what's going on. So hope you guys enjoy it. Like, share, and let us know what you thought about today's show, good or bad, you know. And if you want to be a part of the show, we can send you the link, but we want to know who you are first before we send you any links, because we did that before and we had all kinds of crazy people coming in. So we want to know who you are first.
This is why you want to be part of the newsletter, hitting us up at Innervision2 at msn.com and leaving us your email address, and we'll get you set up.
Oh yeah. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting day.